How are you all? I hope you are happy and healthy and studying also. As you all know, we are revising Honeycomb. This is your chapter number 2, A Gift of Chapels. So in this story, we have already discussed some issues and the chapter was explained also. Once again, I would like to give a summary of this chapter. So after listening this summary, you will be able to solve the question and answers. So in the soul of the chapter, or you can say the first part of the story, gives us Mridu goes to Rukumani house. Mridu is a young girl living with her grandmother Tapi and grandfather Tata in Mumbai. Mridu goes along with Tapi to her aunt Rukumani's place one afternoon. And there she meets her cousins Lali, Ravi and Meena. Everyone at Rukumani's house was glad to see Mridu. There was a thick bitterberry bush in the backyard. Ravi took her beside that. There was a small little kitten inside a torn football. The small creature was busy drinking milk that was kept inside a half shell of a coconut. Now here you can see the description of kitten. Meena informed Mridu that they had found the kitten outside their house in the morning of that day, but they must keep it as a secret, otherwise the grandmother will leave their house immediately. Ravi was upset that they were being taught to be kind towards animal, but when he was trying to do so, elders were screaming at them, calling the kitten as a dirty creature. His grandmother was also suspicious while he was taking out milk for the kitten from the kitchen. He had to drink more than a half of the milk to make her believe that it was for him. He also told Mridu that they have named the kitten as Mahindran. Mridu loved the name because it sounded real, unlike those cute ones you keep for the kitten. Ravi further added that its complete name was Mahendra Varma Pallava Punnai and MP Punnai in short. He informed her he could make it from its fur, and it was a fine breed, a close relative of lion family like the one that Pallava kings used in their emblem. To this Mridu giggled, which instigated Ravi to prove his knowledge about the history further on his school trip to Mahabalipuram. He had seen a statue of a lion. He firmly believes that it was the ancestor of that kitten. We proudly announce that his small kitten is the descendant of Mahabalipuram Rishi cat. He reminded Mridu of cats being worshipped in ancient Egypt. He believed it and a descendant of cat goddess Bastet. Now in the next part you can see the screeching sound. The screech noise. Ravi was busy in making all proud announcement about his kitten when a weird sound screech came from the window. Mridu was shocked while Mahendran was frightened. Mahendran jumped with fear on a tray or red chilies kept under the sun for drying. While the screeching noise continuing on the background, Mridu inquired what it was. Ravi informed her that it was Lali's learning to play the violin. Mridu peeped from the window and she found Lali was holding the violin in an awkward position, sitting a bit away from the music teacher who had his back towards the window. And now we are moving to the teacher was bald with fringe of oil black hair falling around his ear. There was gold chain in the neck and a ring on his hand. He had a big toe with which he was thumping the ground. He was playing the notes perfectly on the violin while Lali was struggling hard. His tracks were filled with melody while Lali continued missing the note CS. Now we are going to learn about the beggar also. How he was looking like and how you can see the incident was taken place. So the second part of the story, you can see the description of beggar. Children were having fun peeping from the window when Rukumani called Ravi to send the beggar away. She was fed up with the beggar coming to their place for a week now and wanted him to find another house. The beggar had made himself comfortable at the garden. He was leaning against the neem tree with his upper cloth spread under it. He was about to snooze when he heard Ravi asking him to leave. He was shocked hearing this and called for lady of the house. An irritated Rukumani told Ravi that there wasn't any left in the kitchen and asked the beggar not to come again. Her voice was so loud that Ravi didn't have to repeat her word to the beggar. The beggar told them that he would leave after taking rest for a while. It was too hot outside and there were blisters in his feet. The children were in the pain seeing this and started making plans to give him chappals. Now here you can see the gift of chappals, the main topic of the story. Mridu remembered seeing a pair of old grey chappals while she had entered Ravi's house. She asked Ravi whom they belonged to. Ravi took the chappal and gave it to the beggar and asked him not to come again. The beggar went away wearing the chappals and blessing the children. It was a time for the music teacher to leave. He was looking for his chappal. He called Lali. They looked everywhere but did not find them. Lali informed Rukumani about it. Rukumani questioned the children if they had seen anyone picking up the chappal. Rukumani was really angry and Mridu couldn't control anymore. She told her that they have been the music teacher's chappals to the beggar. Rukumani went inside and brought Gopu Mama's new chappal and gave them to the music teacher. The teacher was happy getting the new chappal but still pretended as though it was tough for him to accept them. Rukumani, the loving mother, the teacher called Ravi a monkey, an incarnation of the Lord Hanuman, which seemed clear that Rukumani didn't like. She wanted the teacher to leave immediately. After he left, she called the children home and offered them some snacks. She thanked God that Golu go to the office in chappals but needed them. She thanked God that go to the office in chappals but needed them after coming home immediately. She wondered that she will tell him, giving a hint that she will take the blame on herself. So this way the summary is completed and now we are moving to solve question and answer which are based on this chapter. you can see question and answers, comprehension check. The music teacher is making lovely music. Read aloud the sentence in the text that express this idea. And had the beggar come to the Rukumani house for the first time? Give reason for your answer. A V-sharp line had formed between her eyebrows. What does it suggest to do about? And if we will see after the first part of the story, you can see few questions are there also. So first we are going to solve this question. What is the secret that Meena shares with Midhu in the backyard? For this answer, what is the secret that Meena shared with Midhu in the backyard? You can see this answer in this paragraph. Now Mridu did not have much time to wonder about whose slippers they are. Ravi dragged her to backyard. Behind the big bitter berry bush, there inside a torn footwall lined with the sacking and filled with the sand, lay a very small kitten lapping up milk from a coconut shell. Now here you can see the answer of first question. So that was the secret. A very small kitten inside a torn football lined with sacking filled with the sand was hidden behind a thick bitter berry bush in the background. It was lapping up milk from a coconut half shell. This was the secret that Meena shared with Mridu. So this answer you can write. Now we are moving to second question. The second question is, how does Ravi get milk for kitten? So it was really a great task. Ravi got milk with in a very tough situation, and here he described about how he got. Here you can see people are always telling us to be kind to animals, but when we are, they scream, "Oh, don't bring that dirty creature here," said Ravi. Do you know how hard it is to get the little milk from the kitchen? Now here you can see the answer. So here you can see Pati saw me with a glass in my hand just now. I told her I am very hungry, I want to drink it, but the way he looked at me, had to drink most of it, throw it off the scent. Then he wanted the tumbler back, and how difficult it was to give the milk to that small kitten. Ravi got milk from the kitten from the kitchen when his grandmother Pati saw him holding the glass of milk, and he told her that he was hungry. In order to avoid suspicion, he had to even drink most of the milk. When she asked for the tumbler, he told her that he would wash it himself. Then he ran and poured the milk into a coconut shell. Before his grandmother could get really suspicious, he ran back to the kitten, washed the tumbler and put it back. So that was a really very difficult situation for getting milk for that small kitten. Now we are moving to third question. Who does he say the kitten's ancestor are? Do you believe him? Now here you can see, well, one of the descendant of that cat goddess was a strawberry in one of the Pallava ships, and his descendant was the Mahabali Rishi cat, whose descendant is Ravi flourished his twig at the Mahindran, MP Punnai here. Now here you can see, he just exaggerate about the cat, and this cat is descended from the Egyptian cat god, no goddess, bastard, yeah, that's it. Now here you can see the answers, and we are going to write like this. Ravi said that one of the descendants of the Egyptian cat goddess had been a strawberry on one of the Pallava ships. The descendant of this cat was the Mahabalipuram Rishi cat. And their kitten Mahendravarma Pallava Punnai, MP Punnai for short, has descended from the Mahabalipuram Rishi cat. It was a close relative, scientifically speaking, of the Pallava lion, the emblem of the Pallava dynasty. His narrative concerning the genealogy of the kitten is unbelievable. So this way you can write the answer. Now we are moving to number 4. Ravi has a lot of say about MC Punnai. This shows he is merely trying to impress Mridu. His knowledge of history is sound. He has a rich imagination. He is an intelligent child. So here you can see, you can put a tick on, he has a rich magician. Now, what was the noise that startled Mridu and frightened Mahindran? Now, the noise that startled Mridu and frightened Mahindran was an unusual sound, a screech. The screeching of actually Lali's attempt at learning to play the violin. Now here you can put a take on that. He has a rich imagination, and because of this he just create a story, and in this you can write. We are moving to the paragraph, that screeching sound. So this is the screeching sound coming from the violin, and that was Lali was playing. So this answer you can write like that. Okay. So the noise that startled Mridu and frightened Mahinder was an unusual sound, a screech. This screeching was actually Lali's attempts at learning to play the violin. So we are moving to next question, that is second part of the story. You can find more questions. So we are moving to solve next question, which you can find on Comprehension Check. The music master is making lovely music. Read aloud the sentence in the text that expresses this idea. Now the music master notes seem to float up, settle perfectly into the invisible tracks of melody. It was like the wheels of the train fitting smoothly into the rails and whizzing along. So this sentence shows that music master was making lovely music. Yes, of course. So question number 2, had the beggar had to Rukumani's house for the first time? Give reason for your answer. No, the beggar had not come to the Rukumani house for the first time. When the beggars arrived, she asked Ravi, send him away. The beggar, she said, had been coming to their house daily the week before. She said it was the time he found another house to beg from. So he used to come daily. So you can write like this, he used to come daily, and it was not his first time, and he was coming since 1 week. Now third, a sharp V-shaped line had formed between her eyebrows. What does it suggest to you about the Rukumani's mood? Yes, this shows the anger of Rukumani's mood, that a sharp V-shaped line between the eyebrows refers to a frown. This suggests that Rukumani was in angry mood. She was in angry mood. So you can write. Now we are going to solve these fill in the blanks working with the text. Ravi compares Lali playing the violin to, that we are going to write. So Ravi compares Lali playing the violin to derailing of a train. Derailing of a train of melody going completely off track. Completely off track. So you can write. Now trying to hide beneath the tray of chilies, Mahendran. So you can write, Mahendran tipped a few chilies over himself. Tipped this is E, few chilies over himself. Now third, the teacher played a few notes on his violin and Lali. Now here you can write, the teacher played a few notes on his violin and Lali stumbled behind him. Stumbled. Stumbled behind him. Stumbled behind him or on her violin. On her violin, which looked helpless, which looked helpless and unhappy in her hands, and unhappy in her hands. So write down all of you. Now we are moving to number 4. The beggar said that the kind ladies of the household. So the beggar said the kind ladies of a household were very generous. Very generous. Very generous, and because of this, he had been able to keep his body and soul together. For a whole week, and he could not believe that they would turn him away. So there is a less space, so I am just removing it. Just write down. So I am going to write a whole week. A whole week, and he could not believe that they would turn him away. So this is quite long, but just complete it. Now fifth one we are going to do. After the lesson was over, the music teacher asked Lali if she had seen his chappal. If she had seen his chappals. So this answer you just write down. Now here you can see the descriptive questions are there. Describe the music teacher as seen from the window. What makes Mridu conclude that the beggar has no money to buy chappals? So here you can see as seen from the window, the bony figure of the music master with most of his back to his window would be seen sitting in front of Lali. He had a mostly bald head with a fringe of oil black hair falling around his ears and old-fashioned tuft. A gold chain gleamed around his leathery neck and a diamond ring glittered on his hand, and it glided up down the stem of the violin. A large foot stuck out of the beneath in the gold bordered westy edge. He was beating this time on the floor with a scrawny big toe. And now what was she suggests to show her concern. So you can, third one we are going to write, what makes Mridu conclude that beggar has no money to buy chappals? When Rukumani asked Ravi to tell the beggar never to return, the beggar pleaded with them to let him rest a while, as the sun was hot and the tar had melted on the road. So he then stretched out his feet so show how large and pink peeling blisters on the sole of her bare feet. When Mridu saw the blisters feet of the beggar, she concluded that he did not have any money to buy chappals. Now second one, if we are going to solve, what does the suggest to show her concern? Now Mridu asked Ravi if he had any pair of old chappal that they could give to the beggar. Her eyes filled with tears on seeing the unfairness of the situation in which the beggar was, and she suggested that he needed something on his feet. Now if we are moving to number 4, have you children? She began, and then seeing them very curiously, quiet, went on more slowly, seen anyone lurking around the veranda. What do you think Rukumani really wanted to ask? What did she change her question? Why did she change her question? What did she think had happened? So there are you can see there are 3 questions, and Rukumani first answer you can write. Rukumani actually wanted to ask the children if they had seen the music master's chappals, and the second one, she changed her questions, seeing that they were curiously quiet. She suspected that they had something to do with the missing chappal. Now third, she probably thought that the children had purposely hidden the music master chappal or done something with them. Now if we are moving to solution 5, on getting Gopu Mama's chappal, the music teacher tried not to look too happy. Why? Because Gopu Mama's chappal were new and hardly worn, while the ones that the children gave away the beggar were quite old and shabby. Looking still, the music teacher lied that his chappal had been brand new. He was quite happy to get the new chappal in return for his old ones. However, he tried not to look too happy, as he wanted to show his disappointment at what the children had done and how they had no respect for elders, even though his eyes lit up when he saw the new pair of chappal. He presented as if he would have somehow managed with it. So on getting a gift of chappals, the beggar vanished in the minute. Why was he is in such a hurry? So because he was in such a hurry, because he got a chappal and it was a very helpful for him. When the beggar was asked to leave, he raised his eyes and looking fearfully at the road. When he was gleaming on the afternoon heat, he knew his feet would burn again. However, when the children got him a pair of slippers, the beggar stared at them in the amazement. He hurriedly flung his towel from his shoulder, then he pushed his feet into them and left, muttering a blessing to the children. In a minute, he had vanished around the corner of the street. So this way, we can solve the answers, and I think you have already done, because this chapter was already taught. So we are just revising these answers and these chapter. So on the basis of this summary, you can able to solve the question and answers. So all of you complete your answers, and we will meet again tomorrow. Till then, bye bye and take care.